The following program is sponsored by The Greek, Ely's Radio Shack dealer at 570 Altman in downtown Ely, and brought to you as a public service by Georgetown Media in Ely, Nevada. Ely City Council meeting, November 7th, 2019.
Earphones until you want to speak.
Technology that was not.
You should just like pull on this.
Yeah.
So we just have the two?
No, you've got two more.
Well, no, I don't know if Ernie. Yeah, Ernie had a doctor's appointment and took him to.
Let's start with the phone.
Yeah, he's got three of them.
Yeah, right.
And his daughter, Ben, she does soccer. Division?
And volleyball.
Any guesses?
Michelle, did you hear what I said about muting unless you're speaking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice job.
Okay.
University of Hawaii. He was very much. Oh, absolutely. I went to UCLA. Let's see.
We'll call this meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I think there's anybody here for the invocation, so we will move on. Is there anybody here for the invocation?
A lot of us are praying, but no pastor.
Okay. We'll move on with the roll call.
Mayor Robertson,
Present?
Councilman Carson,
Present.
Councilman Oliver, Councilwoman Beecher, City Attorney Kyle,
Here.
Treasurer Trask,
Here.
Public Works Supervisor Pritchard,
Here.
Building Official Christensen,
Here.
City Clerk Lee.
Here.
That's all.
Okay, thank you. With that, we'll move on to public comment. Please state your name for the record. You have 3 minutes.
My name's Maureen Otzelberger. On September 13th, Friday, myself and a friend witnessed a city/White Pine employee in Eureka, Nevada at the Pony Express delicatessen at 1:15. This employee was driving a White Pine County truck, which it's clearly marked official use only. This employee had his wife with him, which is a violation. Why should I lie? I'm a member of the Planning Commission, and I know what I saw, and my girlfriend was with me. I'm not a liar.
Good morning. Thank you. Any other public comment?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, minutes of July 11th and 25th were presented today. Just now, it should have been in the packet. I hope you don't plan on approving it. I don't know if you read it. I know I haven't had a chance. Mr. Mayor, on your agenda item 8.1, you're to consider a fee schedule for out-of-town, for out-of-area business to be paid by the day. All businesses must pay at least for 1 month. No deductions. Let me remind you, you're taxing local businesses 24/7, open or closed. Mr. Mayor, on your agenda item 8-2, you're to consider possible approval to charge tree grounds and stumps by weight. Trees are natural products. There should be no charge. Just burn them or let the people harvest the wood. When the scales were put in, it was stated that there would be no charge. Now we have an awful short memory. I have a concern, Mr. Mayor, that there's only one councilman here. Everybody else is attending by phone. That's not going to cut it. That needs to stop. They got to make up their minds what they're going to do. You're either in or you're out. And the Three Musketeers should be out. Mr. Mayor, on your agenda item C3, you're to consider possible removal of 5 or 6 streetlights for use in the construction of the new convention center parking lot. The lights should be similar to that the state's being put in on Main Street project, dark sky compatible. Those lights on Main Street are not compatible. Main Street is too dark now. No lighting should be removed from any street corner in particular. I want to know what happened to the extra poles the city purchased to replace any damaged poles. You should have a surplus. Mr. Mayor, on your agenda item C4, you're to consider finalizing changing the time for the regular city council meetings from 1 p.m. That move will be a deterrent for those that are having to work for a living. I think it's an intentional act against one working woman in particular. And what about Paul Holloway, a member of the utility board, who continues to miss meetings held at 8 a.m. and usually last 1 hour? Then we have Mr. Carson here, who now holds the distinction of most meetings missed since Mr. DeFleece has gone to Flake and resigned. Most recently expressed concern over the ability of some people to serve when they have family as well as work obligations. Yet the public is supposed to be sympathetic to broken down city council members who are sicky poo and can't attend a regular meeting. This item appears to be vindictive, with total disregard for the people you represent, and it needs to be terminated, eliminated. Your responsibility is to the taxpayers, voters of this community, not special interests. Mr. Mayor, in reviewing city bills, why are you still paying Hindenburg $2,400 a month for accounting services when you have 2 staff members who stated they knew the books, and that's why you're paying them big bucks?
Thank you, George.
The overspending needs to stop there.
Thank you, George.
I want my money.
Is there any other public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 3, Mayor discussion for possible action, approval of agenda, including removal of agenda items. As I understand it, we'll be removing item C3 under new business, is that correct?
Is that correct, Councilman Waller?
Yep. Okay, are there any other changes to the agenda that we need to make, or any requests from the council?
I could not hear today. I'd like to have them remove the item we put to it. It was on the streetlights, under Steve new business. Item 3, take that from the agenda. Kyle from the convention center says they do not want to use our streetlights.
Okay.
So we will approve, I'm looking for a motion to approve the agenda with the removal of item C3. I'll move to approve. Do I have a second?
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Okay. Any other comment? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Carried and so ordered. We'll move on to item 4, city departments, reports. Fire chief. I don't know if anybody here tonight for that. Police chief, municipal court judge, city clerk.
I just want to note for the record that the July 11th and July 25th minutes were emailed out earlier this week.
Any other items to report?
No, I attended the OHV commission, and for a presentation, they requested that the city do that based on the ordinance that we passed, but I'll review that more when that ordinance comes back on the agenda.
Okay. Any questions for the clerk? We'll move on to city treasurer. Anything to report? Okay. City public works supervisor.
Just got one thing, we did install the hydro gate today out at the wastewater treatment. Worked out perfect, so makes a big difference.
Okay. Any questions for Mike Craycraft? Let's see, we have the report for the city water operator, city engineer. Anything to report?
We actually had a meeting this afternoon with NDOT over this Altman Street. Things are falling together pretty well. They have all of our information together over there, so they're actually proceeding with the agreement to get in place. The agreement will come back from the city as far as our commitments and different things that are going on. So everything in place, everything looks good. We've also been working and got a lot of our land swap and our easement for the drainage taken care of. I actually have a meeting tomorrow morning set up with the downstream landowners to come in and go over that agreement. Hopefully that will go great. It's set up so that on Wednesday's county commission meeting, the county will finish their part. So really, hopefully by the end of next week, hopefully if everything goes well, this will all fall together. We'll have an easement and the construction project will be able to continue on.
Okay.
Things are seeming to be going good. So, any other questions?
Any questions for the engineer? Thanks, BJ. City building official?
I have nothing to add.
Okay. The NRY Foundation report, I will turn that over to Michelle Beecher.
Mark, do you have anything to report?
Mark isn't present.
Oh, Mark isn't here. I'm sorry, Michelle.
He's in spirit.
Here. We can just go past.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Anyone has a concern?
Okay, thank you, Michelle.
We'll move on to city reports. City council, we'll start with you, Kurt.
No report at this time.
Okay, Michelle, do we have any reports?
I have no report tonight.
Okay. Councilman Allworth, do you have any reports?
No report, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I don't have anything to report at the moment, so we'll move on to item 7. Items for discussion, possible action of the Ely City Council as recommended by the Animal Control Board. Number 1, board members, Maddie's Pet Project Outreach Manager, Lisa Schutte. Thank you. Discussion for possible action, approval of second grant agreement between the City of Ely and Humane Network in the amount of $10,000 to support the TNR program for feral cats with the goal of 80 cats being spay-neutered and to provide spay-neuter assistance for pets in need.
Would you like me to?
If you want to just give us a quick rundown of this, we're really pleased to be doing this.
Well, hello, and thank you for having me. I'm Lisa Schutte with Maddie's Pet Project in Nevada. We're super excited to be offering a second grant to you, $10,000. In the grant, it talks about continuing the TNR program with 80 cats a minimum, and we discussed this last night at the Animal Advisory Committee. It says 80 cats. We encourage many more, especially since you have wonderful veterinarians here in Ely who are willing to charge just such great prices for the spay and neuter. The grant is also available to help animals, animals in need to receive spay-neuter services. Ultimately, we want to help Ely and White Pine County, frankly, to reduce the number of animals running at large, the feral cats, and pets in need, and we want to provide this spay-neuter as best we can, and to help create a sustainable program for the community to then build off of. So we had talked about perhaps helping get a 501c3 going, those kinds of things. But I am available to help in any way.
Fantastic. Are there any questions for Mrs. Schutte? With that, I will entertain a motion on this item.
I will move to approve.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any other discussion on this item? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Carried as ordered.
And can I say one more thing?
Sure.
I'd like to invite everyone to watch a webinar with Dr. Kate Hurley, and it is on November 13th, and I've sent the information to Mr. Craycraft and to Andrew Hayes and to Jennifer Lee, and I'm certainly happy to forward it, but it really talks about community cats and some of the problems or how to address when people aren't super eager for these programs, because it talks about nuisance behaviors, and so it's a great way to help the community get on board.
Okay, thank you for your time. With that, we'll move on to item 8, items for discussion, possible action of the Ely City Council as recommended by the Municipal Utilities Board. Item 1, Councilman Allworth, discussion for possible action, approval of resolution 2019-18, a resolution amending the landfill fee schedule for out-of-the-area businesses to be payable by the day based upon the $48.99 monthly rate.
This was actually tabled at the utility board this morning.
Okay.
I think Councilman Allworth wanted to work on some of the wording on it.
Okay. Is that a fair assessment, Jim?
Yeah, that's correct, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. With that, I guess I will entertain a motion for table.
I move to table.
Do I have a second?
Jim seconds.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried and so ordered. Item is tabled. We'll move on to item 2. Councilman Carson, discussion for possible action, approval to charge for the disposal of tree rounds and stumps by weight instead of item.
The utility board recommended approval this morning on this matter. This is the only thing that we do not weigh at this time. It's kind of a guesstimate. We have a small, medium, and large classification for it. And I think it'd just be a lot simpler if we just charge by weight.
And this would just be for commercial
Just for commercial.
disposal.
Yeah,
Residents who are disposing of stumps would not be
would
charged.
not be charged.
Okay.
And my recommendation was to go with the lowest rate we have out there, and that's the concrete and asphalt at $5 a ton.
Okay. All right, I'll entertain a motion for this item.
I'll move to approve.
Moved by Jim.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Carried and so ordered. We move on to item 9, discussion. Items for discussion, possible action only of the Ely City Council, the consent agenda, excuse me. I will entertain a motion for approval of the minutes and bills.
Jim, so moved.
Do I have a second?
I will second.
Michelle seconds. Do you have any discussion or questions on any of these items? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried and so ordered. We'll move on to old business. Council members, City Clerk Lee, discussion for possible action, approval of City of Ely Water Conservation Plan update draft to be submitted to the Nevada Division of Water Resources for final approval. I believe all the corrections that we had noted have been made. Is there any other corrections or notes anybody wanted to add on this? I'll entertain a motion for this item.
I'll move to approve.
Do I have a second?
Jim seconds.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Carried and so ordered. Thank you. We'll move on to C, new business. Mayor Robertson, discussion for possible action, approval of a support letter to establish the Track B exchange program in Ely. This is something those ladies who came from Track B last meeting had requested. I'm in favor of their programs, and they requested a letter of support. They're getting one from the county as well, as I understand it. We'll be approaching them. With that, I will entertain a motion on this item.
I would move to approve.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Carried and so ordered. Thank you. Item 2, Mayor Robertson, discussion for possible action, approval of a proclamation declaring November 30th, 2019 as Small Business Saturday in the city of Ely. The proclamation is in your packets, but it's going to be Small Business, what was it called, Jennifer? Small Business Saturday. As I understand it, this is something we do annually. So, with that, I will entertain a motion for this item.
I would move to approve.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Carried and so ordered, thank you. With that, we'll move on to item 4, Councilman Flangus, discussion for possible action, approval of a resolution 2019-19, changing the time for regular city council meetings to 1 p.m. I will entertain a motion on this item. If there is no motion, the item will die for lack of motion. Last call for a motion. Item dies for lack of motion. With that, we'll move on to public comment. Please state your name for the record. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, for those that wish to participate with their cell phone, that phone has to go to a speaker first. You can't hear clearly what's being said. This is one of the most pathetic meetings I've ever been to. There's no respect for you, and that's got to stop. And you need to put your foot down, Mayor. If they want to be on this council, then they better show up. You take a lot of heat for no reason at all, and you're going to get more from me if things don't change. I come here because I respect you, and I'm here to ask for my problems to be solved. That's what you're here for. You're a public servant, and so are they. Nothing less, nothing more. Mr. Mayor, we need a newspaper. There's no news out there. We talked about animal control, getting this Maddie's grant, which is great. But you need to put the tax on cats, similar like you do dogs, in order for that money to stretch. Right now, you're putting the whole burden on the dog owners only. That needs to stop. Mr. Mayor, on your agenda item C2, you were to approve a declaration of small business Saturday in the city of Ely. I want to remind you, your building inspector has yet to issue a re-roof permit to me. Is he still going to Eureka? Does the city have a contract to provide inspections for Eureka City and or county? Your building inspector is selectively enforcing the law under color of law. He is the single largest deterrent to the growth of the city and the county, and it needs to stop. How many times are you going to be told that? Mr. Mayor, the curb and gutter on the corner of 7th Street and Avenue B was put in, then it was taken out, now it's been reinstalled, non-ADA compliant on the corner. Who designed it? Who removed it after the first place? Who's going to pay for the mess? Do we have money to put in and take out? It better not be the city. Those that put it in need to design it right the first time. Other than that, you need to go after the errors and omissions. Enough is enough. Mr. Mayor, the concrete triangle that was put in at the ingress-egress of Avenue D near the Holiday Inn is a traffic hazard. The lanes are too small to meet minimum city code. Vehicles are jumping the curb now. What are you going to do when it snows and they can't be seen? The curb that was installed along the Van Camp property should be back another 5 feet from the property, not 11 feet. Someone narrowed the street that could have and should have been wider. The city needs to go after the errors and omissions again and correct the tragedy. Those that can't do their job have got to go. You had 2 individuals sue you because the street was going to be too narrow. And then when it was designed, you put that much more burden on those that need that street open. And it's supposed to be open.
Thank you.
That needs to be corrected, Mayor. We're still waiting.
Thank you.
Did I take you on 4 lanes downtown?
Yes, I'm Spencer. This is Veronica from Tribe B. We just wanted to say thank you to the mayor, council, and to the city of Ely for always being gracious and welcoming us here as a city, and for always being polite while working with us. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Seeing none, I will move on to item 11, adjournment. I will adjourn. If I have a second.
We need a second.
I will second.
Thank you, Michelle.
All in favor?
Aye.
Jim? Jim?
Condon, aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Good night.
This has been a Georgetown production. George Chachis reporting.